Richer than a dream. As rich as Croesus, even today, millennia later, his name is shorthand for unimaginable wealth. Croesus, King of Lydia, the ruler whose coins gleamed across the ancient world, the patron of temples, the conqueror of cities, the man whose treasuries overflowed with gold drawn from the fabled sands of the Pactolus River. But wealth is never enough to shield a man from fate. For Croesus, riches brought pride, pride brought folly, and folly brought fire. This is the story of a king who stood at the pinnacle of fortune and fell into legend. Chapter 1. The Legacy of Gyges and the Curse of Dynasties. Croesus was not the first of his line. He was the last. He belonged to the Myrmnad dynasty, founded by Gyges around 680 BCE. Gyges seized power by treachery, assassinating King Candoles at the insistence of the queen, who refused to be a spectacle for her husband's bodyguard. Herodotus tells us the Delphic oracle confirmed Gyges' right to rule, but warned that vengeance would come in the 5th generation. Croesus was that 5th. He inherited not only Lydia's throne, but also a curse. The dynasty weathered raids by Cimmerians, wars with Ionian Greeks, and shifting alliances. His father Alyats stabilized the kingdom, introduced the world's first coinage, electrum staters, and enriched the treasury. When Alyats died in 585 BCE, Croesus ascended. He would expand Lydia's power farther than ever before. But he was walking a path laid down generations earlier, one that ended in ruin. Chapter 2. The Riches of Lydia. From his capital at Sardis, Croesus presided over a kingdom glittering with wealth. Gold dust flowed down the river Pactolus, the very stream where legend says King Midas had washed away his cursed touch. Whether myth or truth, the Pactolus was real, and its sands made Lydia rich. Croesus perfected what his father began. He minted the first pure gold and silver coins, standardized in weight and value. Money itself became his legacy, transforming trade across the ancient world. He was a patron of faith as well as fortune. He funded the construction of the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and showered the Oracle of Delphi with gifts so extravagant that his name was inscribed on its treasures. His reputation spread. Croesus was not merely a king. He was the wealthy king, the man who seemed to possess everything. Chapter 3. Wars, Conquests, and Power. Croesus was no idle monarch. He conquered the Ionian, Aeolian, and Dorian cities of Asia Minor, extending Lydia's dominion to the Aegean coast. Tribute poured into Sardis: grain, silver, soldiers. When his advisors urged him to build a navy to dominate the islands, he hesitated. A counselor reminded him, "The islanders would be delighted if you fought them at sea, for then they could defeat you on the element where they are strong." Croesus, wise enough to heed this, forged treaties instead. He allied with Egypt under Pharaoh Amasis, with Babylon under Nebuchadnezzar's heirs, and bound Lydia to Media through marriage ties. For a moment, he stood as one of the great arbiters of Near Eastern power. But another star was rising. One Croesus could neither bribe nor intimidate: Cyrus the Great of Persia. Chapter 4. The Visit of Solon. At the height of his wealth, Croesus entertained a visitor at Sardis, Solon of Athens, the famed lawgiver and philosopher. Croesus, eager to display his opulence, led Solon through his treasuries and asked, "Tell me, Athenian, who is the happiest man you have ever seen?" Solon named not Croesus, but Tellus of Athens, who lived a virtuous life and died nobly in battle. Croesus, stung, pressed further. Surely, then, he must be second. Solon instead praised Cleobus and Beton, two Argive brothers who died honorably after a lifetime of piety. Croesus, insulted, demanded why he, with all his wealth, was not considered the happiest. Solon replied, "Count no man happy until he is dead. Until then, he may yet meet with misfortune." Croesus dismissed the old philosopher as a fool, but in time he would remember Solon's words with bitter clarity. Chapter 5. Oracles, Misfortune, and the Shadow of Persia. Croesus's first taste of sorrow came with the death of his beloved son Attis, killed during a boar hunt, slain, ironically, by the very man Croesus had assigned to protect him. Grief consumed him. But when news came that Cyrus had risen in Persia, overthrowing Astyages of Media, Croesus saw opportunity. He consulted Delphi, the most trusted oracle in the Greek world. The Pythia delivered a tantalizing prophecy. If Croesus goes to war, he will destroy a great empire. Convinced this meant Persia's, Croesus marched to battle. He even employed the philosopher Thales of Miletus, who ingeniously diverted the Halys River so the army could cross. At Pteria, Croesus and Cyrus fought to a draw. Croesus withdrew, expecting to regroup in spring, but Cyrus defied convention. He pursued. At Thymbra, 547 BCE, the Persians deployed camels to terrify Croesus's cavalry. The Lydian forces collapsed. Sardis fell after a short siege. Croesus, once the richest man alive, was bound in chains before the Persian king. Chapter 6. Fire and Rain. Cyrus ordered Croesus burned alive on a pyre with 14 noble youths. As the flames rose, Croesus cried out, "O Solon! Solon! Solon!" Cyrus, puzzled, demanded an explanation. Croesus recounted Solon's warning, that no man could be called happy until his death, for fortune turns swiftly. Whether by divine mercy or chance, a sudden rainstorm quenched the flames. Croesus was spared. Cyrus, moved by his words and by his humility, released him. Some say Croesus lived on as a counselor to Cyrus. Others whisper that he perished in fire, and later storytellers softened his fate. The truth remains uncertain, but the lesson endured. The richest man, the poorest soul. Croesus's tale is one of dazzling wealth and devastating miscalculation. His coins transformed economies. His patronage built wonders. His name became eternal shorthand for riches. But he misread the gods, overestimated fortune, and believed himself secure against fate. Herodotus preserved his story as a warning. Wealth is fleeting. Pride is peril. No man is happy until the end is known. Croesus, the richest king, the humbled captive, remains forever the man who proved that gold cannot buy wisdom, nor shield a mortal from destiny.